Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me in this now moment. Be a unicorn in a field of horses. So, I wanted to talk about the inner child today. And how there are many different things in our reality that have skewed our perception from a child. So, what do I mean by this, right? As a child, we are the most susceptible and open, vulnerable beings. We are just, I mean this in the highest vibration possible, but we're just little black holes taking in every fucking thing that we can possibly take in. We're just like a little sponge absorbing all of this information. And what a lot of us don't recognize or realize, because we aren't taught the spiritual realm of the world in most cases, and I'm not talking for everybody, right? But the majority of our world, the majority of America really, aren't taught that you, the person watching this, no matter at what state that you are at, you are creating your reality. You are a co-creator. And as a child, we are taught a lot of disempowering things. We are taught, and I'll just speak from my personal experience. I grew up in the South, where I got switches and belts and wooden spoons for doing the wrong thing until I was like 9 or 10 years old. That's 10 years. That's a decade of being told that you're wrong when you're standing up for yourself, when you're speaking your truth. When you realize that things are wrong, and not wrong, right? But realizing that something is not, that's a big ass beat. Anyways, when you're realizing that things don't seem right, but you're also taught, don't say anything. You don't backtalk adults. You don't stick up for yourself, right? And if you do, you get in trouble. And this isn't for everybody. You know, not everybody's gonna have this same experience, but I feel like the basis of American culture is disempowerment. And I know I want a better word. There's gotta be a better word than that. Chained. We'll use chained. So so now I'm having this vision of like, you have this ball and chain attached to you, and you're dragging it around with you, and you're not even recognizing that you're dragging it around with you, but it's given to you when you're a kid. All of these ideas, all of these beliefs, right? From your parents, your grandparents, your brother, your sister, anybody that has influence over you, or if not over you, but over you. Okay. Just want to make sure that like what I'm building with my words isn't going to be a little grasshopper. Shit. Isn't going to be limiting. I don't want it to be limiting. I want it to. Anyways, that's ego. Whatever. Fuck it. All right. I've been working on my inner child a lot lately, so a lot of this stuff has been shedding light in areas of myself, right, that have been needing to be integrated and kind of pushed into me to allow to exist, to move forward. So we have all of these self-limiting beliefs, you know, and excuse me, our personality has been built and shaped upon these beliefs and upon these ways of thinking from a child. And the inner child is one of the most sacred spaces, right? I came across some information not too long ago that there's a tribe in Africa, and I can't remember exactly where. I'll have to find that and put it back, put it in here or something. I'll get that information out. But there's a tribe in Africa where before the child is even, the child tells the parents that they're ready to come, right? That's how a child comes forth in this tribe. And then the mother goes and sits away from the tribe and meditates, essentially, and connects with this child. Because mind you, the child is its own entity, its own soul, its own energetic vibration. It has its own signature. And so the mother will go and sit, and then she waits for the child to give her their song. Because we all, having our own vibrational frequency means we have our own tune, our own flow, our own song, our own existence. And then she comes back and she teaches the father, and she teaches the tribe this child's song. That way, whenever this child falls, hurts themselves, begins to have difficulty in doing something or whatever it is, they can sing their song. And what does that do? It brings them back to them, which is ultimately where everything resides. Everything outside of ourselves is an illusion. And I had a vision yesterday, and I'm telling you, man, it fucked me up while I was driving, because I was at the gym, and was it Robert? What's his name? Robert? I can't remember his last name right now, but he's a scientist. And he did a lot of work with the light spectrum. And you can find a lot of these photographs online, but essentially what it is like, can I even fucking do it? All right, we'll just do it like this. And okay, this way. So it's like the light comes into your eyeball and it hits your pupil. And I had a couple of things that kind of led up to this happening. I was listening to a specific song. It's called Fucking Supreme by SOTOV. And I love them. They're high consciousness, essentially high consciousness rap music, which is what I like to listen to. Something to reprogram your brain, to make you think outside the box. I've listened to this song hundreds and hundreds of times, and well, maybe not hundreds and hundreds, but at least 100 times. I've listened to the song at least 100 times over the last couple years. And he said something about black ring around my iris, off inside dimensions. And went So I was listening to that song at the gym, and I started to view myself. I had my eyes closed, but it was like I was viewing myself with these eyeballs, but I was using this one. And I could see, it's like I could see the light that was trying to get into my pupils, but I was viewing it from the side. And then I realized that our pupil is black. So essentially we're still like a black hole, absorbing information, but not just absorbing it, we have the ability to create it. And this brought me back to the inner child, and how we get trapped here on Earth and in different timelines based upon certain things that we experienced as a child, because it's where we are the most susceptible to experiencing things that are outside of our will. It's like, I keep seeing like governmental things happening and creating traumatic experiences for people it's essentially like a soul trap to keep people wanting a certain type of thing without realizing that that's what they're wanting, because we're never taught to go within ourselves. We seek everything externally. And it was in this moment while I was driving down the road that I saw the hologram in a different light. I saw the hologram differently, because all of this is what we have created with our minds, but it is an illusion while simultaneously not being an illusion, because by identifying it as an illusion, we are actually making it real. So if we just exist within it, it just exists. And then it is like clay. It's like Play-Doh. You have the ability to create whatever it is that you want to create, because it is your reality. It is your perception. It is your world. And if we can move towards a neutral state of being, an observer neutral state of being, it gives way for so much more love and so much more acceptance and an existence to truly be, right? And our inner child, and I made a video about this not too long ago, our inner child is a key component to our co-creation, our co-creator ability. There's a little chipmunk over there. And it's something that has been fucked with since we were young, across the world. For a very long time. And I was talking to my partner the other day, and we were talking about the 12-month calendar and the 13th month calendar, and how like our perception of time has been so skewed for so long that in trying to realign yourself, you have to realign your perception on so many different things that it almost seems like it's out of reach. But then you realize that everything is within yourself, and all it takes is you doing something slightly different than what you have been doing to change the pattern, which then creates a new reality. And it's through doing things slightly different over and over again where you then realize that you've created something completely different and new, and it's your dream. You know, you're no longer living someone else's dream or moving. I got told that I do what my handler says, right? But I don't know what handler that would be other than God. But a lot of people are mind controlled, and so they do have a handler in a sense, right? There are energies manipulating our perception on reality, and until we recognize that we are the ones that are manipulating, and we are the ones that control without controlling how we view things, we're just like bumbling idiots. Like just going through the motions. And mindfulness is not easy. It takes a lot of practice to be present and to not be afraid of just being still and sitting. And I mean, for me personally, as a child, I was always told to go outside and play, to go do something, get away from me. You know what I mean? Like, there was a large separation between child and adult. In reality, the adult needed the child more than the child really needed the adult. And when we start looking at, like the relationships of those that we care about, and the relationship with those that raised us, you realize that like your perception really is shaped and molded by those around you. And you choose who you come incarnating with, right? Like the situation you're given as a child, we choose that. But we choose that to help us grow, in a lot of that, like, that's where like a big disconnect comes from, is like, I would imagine a lot of people have experienced things in their childhood that you didn't have control of. And those situations aren't bad, right? I'm not saying that they're good by any means, because there's a lot of things that are detrimental to people. But it's those things that we have to bring to the forefront. So, daddy long legs. I call them granddaddy long legs, and I know that that's not really what they're called, but that's what I call them. Right there. Yeah, they're really not a spider either. A lot of people don't recognize that. They're akin to us, and they have 6 legs. But regardless, you create your own reality. Proof right there, right? Before I started this video, I saw 2 hummingbirds, and I was like, oh, well, it's time to start talking about the inner child, I guess. And healing the inner child is not easy, because for me personally, my inner child can be a little dick, right? And working through that, like, all of those emotions that, I was told or taught to suppress. Because in the South, you don't talk about how you feel. You don't talk about what's going on. You don't bring it up. You don't sit down and have an intellectual conversation about it. People don't, they're afraid to take responsibility for their part in anything. They just carry guilt, shame, and all of these other lower vibrational emotions around. And ultimately, anyways, if you've seen Big Mouth, you know what I mean. Ultimately, I tell you, shame teaches you nothing but where you can love yourself more. Guilt is just an emotion that you can learn where you could have done something different, but understanding that what you did do was what you were supposed to do, and there's no wrong way to go about living life. And something that has been coming up a lot, especially because I've been doing a lot of inner child work recently, well, really for the last 5 years. I have 15 years of trauma from my childhood. It seemed like it never ended. And sometimes when you're living life, and I might cry, but sometimes when you're living life, things seem so good that you're just waiting for the bad thing to happen. And that's the point where you have to catch yourself and recognize that you got it. You have to go to that inner child, right? And be like, hey, we're not there anymore, man. Look at where we are now. Look at this. And kind of bring their vision out of that darkness and show them a little bit of light. Because, like I said, that your inner child is a crucial part to co-creation, to creating your reality. Being able to have that imagination and create something new through the thoughts that you have. But I can speak from my personal experience. I was never taught to even think about what I was thinking about. The thoughts just fucking came and came. They never stopped. And all I ever saw was my family being told that they needed more medication. Oh, you're experiencing anxiety. Here, take this pill. Oh, you're experiencing depression. Here, take this pill. Oh, that combination's not working. Here, let's give you this. Oh, your diet's not the best. So here, let's have these medications so you can just keep eating what you're eating, but now you're taking a medication. And that was how I was raised, in a nutshell. In the South, and like I said, switches, belts, spoons. I got the shit beat out of me. Drug and alcohol abuse all around me. To be honest, I'm so thankful to be alive, because there's so many times that I should have died. And at my own hand, you know? So, I was not expecting this to get this emotional, so. It's just one of those things where like this is healing right here. Because I'm sharing my experience with you, whoever's watching this, about the inner child, but simultaneously I'm healing myself too. Because I'm showing myself where I am and what I've created. I'm not where I want to be because I have goals and aspirations, and that is healthy. But I'm exactly where I have created to be. A launching pad to build a solid foundation. And oh my God. Ruby-throated hummingbird, guys. So, let me show you this. Oh, no, wrong arm. So this is actually a morphed hummingbird. It's a ruby-throated hummingbird with a long-tailed hummingbird. I got that tattoo from my granny, who a lot of my formative years were with, because my mom was dealing with drugs and alcohol and trying to figure herself out. But fuck, man. You know, ultimately there's no wrong way to heal. There's no wrong way to go about life. And I feel as a child, which a lot of us have children in us, we all have an inner child. And I feel a lot of people have a broken inner child somehow, some way, some shape, some form. There's always just a little bit of work to do in there, you know, and we've been taking the world way too serious. And that's not to negate what's going on. I understand that what's going on in the world is serious and some people are being impacted very heavily. But it could just be that the impact that it's having on those people, it's meant to have on those people. And those who aren't affected by it or who don't have that touch there in their lives are meant to do and be here for another reason. Now, if you have the ability to see past and see through all of this shit, oh my God, he came back. He we have like several bird feeders, and he just every time I talk, he like stops and then goes, stops and then goes. He'll be back. But we all have different purposes and different spaces to be in. And there's a lot of manipulation going on with our reality. And the less that we take in external information from what is just straight up given to us, where we go and we do our own research, we piece together the pieces of the puzzle for ourselves, the more clear the picture will become. There is some sort of astrological event going on the 20th, the 20th, it's a black moon, which is associated with a bunch of different types, a bunch of different areas and avenues of life, right? So the last few years is the culmination of everything coming to experience now. Like, I'm seeing now the female is back. So what I'm seeing now is we just try to manifest and 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 just manifest. That's what I've been seeing a lot of. Is like, well, if you're not experiencing what you want, you're not manifesting right. And it's just like, maybe what I'm experiencing is what I need to experience. Maybe this is what I've manifested. That's just it. Like, you have to recognize that what you're experiencing is what you have manifested, and that's why you're experiencing it. And in order to experience something different, you have to accept what you're experiencing in this very now moment to then create something new. But this happens, it's so easy to do, is to try and manifest something to get you out of the situation you're in now. And there's a divine time to everything, meaning there is an energy that rests outside of time itself that is actually moving everything. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. Like, we all have an oversoul. Like, we have a soul, but we have an oversoul. And this oversoul is essentially where our higher self is. Mind you, all of this is within you. You just have to go find it. And not even find it, let it come to you. Just set the intention. But that's how easy it is. It is just setting the intention and knowing whatever the fuck comes to you is what you intended to come to you. And if it's not what you thought it was, maybe see what it is that you're being told, why you're being shown what you are being shown. You know, and time here, and this is something I've had this is just a difficult topic for me, is understanding that time moves slower on Earth for a reason. My nose is running. Allergies, I guess. Who knows? Anyways, time moves slower on Earth for a purpose. But it only moves slower on Earth because we've given ourselves a perception of time to calculate what has passed. So it's like we created time as a construct so we could calculate what has passed to create the future from the past. I don't even know if that makes sense. But that's what came through. So, you know, like, by being chained to the idea that time exists on Earth, we actually are boxing in our soul and our energy into something that it is the trap. Time is the trap. And by being present, you remove yourself from the ideology of time as a construct, and you move into presence, which is a form of time, but presence precedes both the future and the past because it is now. Huh. Damn. All right, that was deep. I gotta take a second on that one. That chipmunk is inside the bird feeder. I wonder if I can I? Nope, I can't. Okay, I was gonna try and flip the camera around, but I can't right now, so yeah. What the fuck? Presence precedes time. Wow. So I'm gonna be very honest with you. I feel like I'm tripping on acid right now. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where, like, I've had a quarter cup of coffee, which I've just recently started drinking a little bit more of. There's no drugs, and by drugs I mean no marijuana, like no mother ganja, right? I haven't taken in anything. This is strictly this is from meditation. You can make videos like this and be in a meditative state. Like, that's what's beautiful about the world that we live in now. Is like, in a quantum field, there are endless possibilities, and by making this video I have created a new reality for myself, and I've stepped into that timeline by following my heart. This is my heart and soul and dream, is to share the information that I have so people can change their perception on reality, so they can open their minds up, so they can be free mentally. Because being a slave, being trapped in your mind, can be daunting sometimes. Well, here's a grasshopper. I think that's everything that I have right now, though. I think I need to go sit with myself for a minute. Cause that's intense. I'll explain to you what has happened, and to the best of the terms that I can. I can see the right and the left hemisphere of my brain merging and coming out, and like, I had this happen the other day during an Akashic record reading. But I could see multiple Fibonacci sequences. It was like I could see the creation point of all things that were in my existence. So like, every living thing has its own Fibonacci sequence, and so they're all giving off of these vibrational frequencies. So what I'm seeing now is like the marriage of the two hemispheres coming together, and instead of going outward, they're flipping themselves inward and hitting my pineal gland, and then coming out and hitting my pineal gland and coming out. It's the best way I can explain that. I'm seeing the flower of life, only I'm looking aimlessly at nothing. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for sticking this one out. It's a little bit of a longer video. I had a lot to share. Yeah, it's just an energy update, really, I guess. The inner child's gonna be making an appearance moving forward for a little bit. Have patience with yourself. And remember, this is just a journey, just a blip on a screen, and whatever you're experiencing currently will subside. You just have to have patience with yourself and patience with the world around you. And yeah, so again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this time with me, really. So yeah, infinite love, infinite light, infinite movement, my friends.